My name is Richard, and this is The Rich Life, where I promote a rich lifestyle, specifically through what I'm doing, performance fasting, focused lifestyle. I'm in a little bit over 2 months. I'm down almost 60 pounds at this point, and it just keeps falling off. I feel like I just have to share it. I'm so excited about it. All right. Yeah, what's up everybody? Rich here, and I am more than excited today to interview my good friend David Hook, who is actually one of my first fasting buddies who joined me with a fasted lifestyle, and if not the first, who actually decided to do it with me. And so it's kind of cool because we have a really unique background, because about a year ago we did a weight loss contest with me and David and a couple other people, and it was a 3-month contest, all these rules, all these weigh-ins, all this craziness. And after the 3 months, how many pounds did you lose?
I think I was in second place. I forget what you finished with, but I might have lost probably tops 10, 15 tops, if that.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It was 9 pounds.
See, it wasn't even. I was giving myself extra, so yeah. And it felt like I lost a lot more just because it was very, and I've heard Richard share on this, it was very grueling, and it seemed like a lot of work just to lose those 9 pounds at the time.
Yeah. And so I know I won the contest. I lost a little bit more than that, but I had gained it back, and it was pure pain and torture, like what you're talking about. But I had gained it back within a very short time period after the contest. Did you gain yours back?
Absolutely, and then some. When I decided to actually kind of take this journey, Richard had been floating out this after I was seeing some results on this fasting. He explained to me kind of what he was doing. I wasn't ready to hear it at first, but I think what happened for me was I got to probably a high point in my weight, even higher than I ever was before. I think I was about 240, and none of my clothes were fitting in my closet, and I had no energy. I was cranky. I have 2 young children, and it was hard to kind of keep up with them after a day of work, and I was just feeling cranky, sluggish. It was not, the reality of it is I got to a point where I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit with the interview, but there was a spiritual side of it for me, where, for me, I kind of got to a place where God was talking to me in a sense by saying, you need to be around for your family. You need to be strong for your family. And at that point, all the excuses I had, like when Richard was floating this, and I'm thinking it's not healthy, you're kind of crazy,
I think that's what you told me.
Yeah, I don't know that this, that sounds a little nuts. I don't think that, you're going to gain it all back. I kept thinking all these things because, that's normally how a lot of these fads go. But I was broken down to a place where I was out of any ideas, and I said, okay, let's try this. What do I got to lose? And the results were unbelievable.
Did you have any fasting experience previously?
No.
None?
No.
And I remember you giving me the hard time.
Yeah. What's nice about this journey too, and I think it's important to set your mind up for it. Like I said, I had that kind of spiritual piece where I was like, okay, I need to do this. So I had made up my mind, no matter what, I was going to do whatever I could to be healthy. If this wasn't working, I was going to do something else. But I was determined to make this a lifestyle change, not another diet. And then the other part of it was, I decided, okay, I'm not going to get discouraged. And that's big too, because even with this, and the results are amazing, there's going to be points where your body kind of plateaus for a little, or sometimes something weird's going to happen, and you're going to be like, I thought it would be. You can't get discouraged. You have to just realize that this is for the long haul, and I'm not going to get mad if one day I gain a couple pounds. And when you go in with that attitude, you just keep grinding at it, and pretty soon it doesn't even seem like a grind anymore. It's very easy.
So I don't remember your first couple weeks being a grind, because I remember you had such amazing results, and it's like you went from not believing me at all, I'll just try this, to your confidence with it shooting through the roof. What was your fasting results?
Well, yeah, it was. I was pretty impressed. Now, I probably was I was probably downplayed a little bit. There was a little bit of, the first time you do, like I think I started with a 48 hour, and there was a little bit, you're coming off an addiction to sugar and carbs, so there was a little bit of distress, but that was what was nice.
Detox.
Yeah, it was nice, to have a buddy system, because you were able to kind of talk me through some things you went through. I was just starting to figure out the water situation, but what I noticed immediately, which was great, was energy level went way up. And, I made my mind, I'm going to take it easy because I don't know how my body's going to react to this. I was a little scared. But I think by day 3 or 4, I was already starting to do workouts again because I felt so good. And and then by the following week, I really started. And then I got into a groove where I could do 48 hours and then eat for a quick period, and then 48 hours and then eat for a quick period. And the workouts and the clarity of thought and the energy levels and all that stuff, it's like, whoa, and as we were learning the water situation too, me and Rich experimented with different waters, and I think that makes a difference, to see which ones really were alkaline and see which ones were better, and I found stuff that was starting to work for me that way, and the results were I think I lost 15 pounds in about 2 weeks. It was like, how long did you say that weight loss competition
3
was?
months,
9
pounds.
3 months, 9 pounds, and in 2 weeks.
He was working it.
15 pounds.
In the weight
2
loss
weeks.
contest, he was going at it.
Yeah, I was working hard, but
we were just down the whole time. But I remember your energy was so through the roof that you were like, I got to work out. I've got so much energy.
Right.
So 15 pounds down in 2 weeks, and then how many pounds are you down now?
Let's see. I was up 240 at my heaviest, and now I'm down. My lowest has been 195. So
45 pounds.
Yeah, 45 pounds. And this is about where my goal was. So I've kind of shifted into a different place now. Now, everybody needs to figure out, I guess, their own journey. For me, I've kind of paired this with a ketogenic diet, and just because I think sugar and carbs are poison, and you don't want to have to detox yourself from that too much. Now, as I've gotten to a place where I've plateaued, and I've even consulted a doctor, I had heart issues, and that gave me a lot of confidence
This
too.
is good.
I was worried about family history. I just turned 40, and that was a motivator too. Like being around for the family. So I decided to do all this, and my doctor actually embraced everything that we were doing, and and really said this is a good lifestyle, and so that gave me some confidence, and then
what did your doctor say about cholesterol?
He said it's a myth. He said there very rarely is cholesterol the driver for heart problems like people think it is.
Yes, that it's not the health indicator it's always been touted as.
Right, exactly. And there was a little bit more that he went into in depth, but I'm kind of forgetting right now. But it was funny. Even with my cholesterol numbers, they weren't that bad. With me doing the fasting, I think you had spoken to us when me and you were talking about your system's not working as hard. So I think when you're doing these fasts and then you're eating it less and breaking up the intervals, your body's not processing food all the time. So it becomes very efficient when you do eat. And I think it deals with those things. Even if you have something that's a little higher in cholesterol, it's able to process that more efficiently. I just think, and there's so many things now that I've read and I've learned about detoxing and there's even some studies that a friend of mine had shared with me where cancer patients, they got off the sugar and the carbs and they did some of this fasting, and actually some of their their cancer actually like went away. They
Yeah.
went into remission.
They're actually recommending that cancer patients fast now before they go do chemo.
Right.
Is there's a lot of really cool studies coming out on that.
Right.
So yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I know you kind of hit on it, but when did you have, I mean, I call it the click. Like, where you start doing this, you're detoxing and it's painful, but then the click happens and it's like, holy crud, I have total control over my weight.
Well, I mean, week 2 or 3, I was really in a groove where like I was like, wow. And then so I was totally sold. Now, during this journey, there were some times where I would plateau, but like I said, I wouldn't get discouraged about it. At that point, sometimes I would just peel back a little bit instead of fasting longer. I would maybe eat a little bit more and still be mindful of that, but then kind of kick it back into gear, and then all of a sudden it would go down even more. And
was that a hopeless plateau that you were hitting, or was that more of a, this is a plateau that I know I could instantly break if I really want to?
Well, I know I can break it now, but at the time I think, and I want to share this because there's people out there that might be like, oh, I was feeling, I want them to realize that at the time I was feeling like, oh, is this it? But I think your body's naturally going to sometimes just put the brakes on things. And I just tried to mentally embrace that and realize, okay, my body's keeping me healthy. Because that was one of my worries. Maybe it's too much too fast. So my body actually put the brakes on for me. And, I just kind of continued on, and then boom, then we're on again. So I would say if somebody does this and they get good results and they hit a plateau, it's not the end of the world. That's your body just doing some, like, its own little health check, but it's okay because you're gonna eventually power through that, and it's amazing. Like I can't believe my everything in my closet now. It's the opposite. Like I was saying, everything was too big, or I was too big for everything. Now I'm too small for almost 90% of my closet. It's kind of crazy.
It's crazy. So I know a lot of people, and I'll say this about David, is that a lot of people will fast, and in their first couple weeks they lose so much weight, and it's more than they've ever lost before doing these crazy torture diets and stuff. And then what they do at that point is they stop and they don't make it a lifestyle. Well, I've seen you adapt it to a lifestyle. Even as you've hit your goal, you continued with fasting. So why do you think that is? Why did you continue to keep with the fasting and make it a lifestyle and not just stop after a couple of weeks and just...
Well, I mean, now that I've gone to my goal, it's been interesting to figure it out. But there's still so many benefits to fasting. There's the clarity of thought. There's kind of a spiritual side of it for me, so there's that. And also, now it's just total control and freedom for me too, where, like, I just went on a vacation with my family. And my heart doctor even told me, he said, you don't have to totally cut out sugar and carbs for the rest of your life. He says, just be mindful of it. But he says, you can indulge every now and then. But now that I am mindful of those things, I don't nearly do that very often. It's a very, very special treat. So when I was on vacation, I did have a few things in Get Loose, but I constantly was doing some exercise and walking and hiking and stuff that I enjoy anyway. So the impact was minimal, but I gained a few pounds. But it was amazing. I came back from vacation and I was 202. And when I left, I was about right around 195. So that was a little bit of a jump. But I didn't stress about it because I knew exactly what I did. I did 2 days of fasting, and I'm already down to 198. By the end of the week, I'll be right where I left off. So this is what I mean. It's total control, and you can eat. What I find for me for a baseline is normally this, and everybody has to find their own. A ketogenic diet keeps me pretty level, and but I still do the fasting from time to time because I need that. And also, if I get a little bit loose, like on a vacation or whatever, it's not the end of the world because I can take it off like that by just, fasting.
The control is crazy. So whenever you would be fasting and you would feel like quitting, like what what was the motivation? What kept you on track? To push through to get to your total goal weight that you haven't been able to get to for who knows how long.
Well, for me, it was just I need to be healthy for my family. There was that. It was just I want to be healthy. I want to be around a long time for my family, and I don't want to live this way anymore.
Good
So
lie.
so that was what I focused on. But it didn't help. It didn't hurt that it had pretty instant results. Because I think most people in society want like something right now. And if you want something right now, this is it. I mean, it's like you do this, and I mean, 15 pounds, 2 weeks. I mean, it was. At that point, I was sold. No matter what. Yes. So I mean, it's really if you're willing to do the work. And I did some 3 and 4 day fasts, and those weren't bad either. For me, and everybody's body's different or whatever. After about 4, I just found that the whole idea of this is for clarity, for maybe to connect spiritually and for good health. And my body, after about 4, from what I found, was it just didn't feel like it felt like and it might have been because I was exercising so hard. It started to take a turn downward. So once I started to lose that sharpness, that clarity, and I wasn't feeling healthy anymore. But that's the beauty of the fasting too. You get very aware of your body. And I think that's good too, because I think some we were talking about right before, so many people are putting all kinds of junk in their mouths, and they're eating all these things, and they don't realize what it's doing to them, physically, spiritually, emotionally. It's a mess.
Yeah, but the fasting, absolutely. I think it connects you with your body,
Right.
where you can figure out what's going on. So I'm hearing that the weight loss was crazy motivation, just the numbers falling off. Like that was like, I gotta keep going. You had definite whys that were pushing you forward that you thought about. And I know you talked about it. You talked about the medical history and wanting to get your health good and to be there for your family. And that was a huge why. And you focused on that a lot. Was there anything that I did specifically? Because I know we were fasting buddies through this.
I think what was good about you is there was times I would do a little cheat. I mean, there was times I did it really good, but there would be times I would do a little cheat. Where I had a little bit of problems would be in the evening, and I would try to stay ketogenic. My thing was I like missed chips, so my trick was I'd do pork rinds with cheese and maybe some pepperoni. But sometimes I could have extended my fast a little longer, and I would have that. And you were always cool about, hey, look, you're still doing good. You still did this. You're still, and it was true. Even when I would do a little bit of cheats, it was so much better than what I was doing before. And just keeping my mind to that place. Then just not being able to, keeping to a place where I didn't get discouraged, and realizing, okay, even if I didn't, maybe my plan was to do 3 days and I only did 2. Okay, we can still try for 3 at some point, but it's not a big deal. At least I had a longer interval than I did before, and I ate pretty sensibly and for a short period of time. All that's to the good, So and that's kind of how I think that's why it's a lifestyle thing for me now. I still treat it like that. I don't get discouraged if I eat this way or that way, or if I don't, as long as I'm continuing to try to have some big intervals. I'm not eating 50 meals a day, and like I said, everybody's got to figure out what works for them. But I find that if you can do some of those longer intervals, especially at the beginning, it makes the whole process easier, because by comparison, everything else is going to be, easy.
So it sounds to me like you didn't focus on beating yourself up when you weren't perfect.
Right.
Because nobody is. And also that you really enjoyed the journey.
Right.
And you just enjoyed it.
Right.
That, it's the ups and downs of getting to your goal. I mean, they happen for everybody, but you didn't focus on the negative all the time. It sounds like if things would happen, and you would just draw a line and keep moving forward. So it's really good advice for everybody. Do you think that you could have lost it quicker?
Oh yeah, if I would have been as strict as I was within the first 2 or 3 weeks, especially the first 2. If I could have probably lost it in a month. You know, I think I probably could have. You know, I think there was a part of me that was, you know, a little scared, almost even a little scared of how fast it happened. and I felt like, oh, whoa. You know, but there's nothing saying that you can't. I've seen some of the results you've gotten, and, you know, I've read on it. And, you know, I think what helped me too is once I met with the doc and he kind of gave me an okay on this, then I was able to kick it into gear a little bit more again. But I was, personally, the results were so amazing at first, it even got a little scary. Like, okay, maybe I need to pull this back a little bit. So I was doing more 1 days, or I wasn't going further than 2 days. But, you know, I'm sure I could have lost faster, yeah.
Which, by the way, if you have a doctor who doesn't support fasting, doesn't know anything about it, doesn't think it's healthy, I mean, they just don't know. So find a doctor that does, that can help you, because, I mean, I've got good doctors that support it. He's got good doctors that support it, and it makes a huge difference. So anyhow, what was your longest fast that you did?
I think it might have been a 4-day. I don't think I ever got into 5. I think it was roughly around 4. It might have been on the longer end of 4 days, but I think that was about my max.
See, and such amazing results, nothing crazy.
Right.
He's just consistency is all it's been.
And you know what, I can see where, you know, the doc had told me too, you know, once you get down to your goal weight, you know, you can pull back a little bit, because, you know, you can't, he said find something that's a little, you know, maybe 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day with, you know, and but still have those bigger intervals. But he also said, you know, a couple times a year just as a detox, it's still not bad to do some of the longer fasts. And, you know, I'm finding that to be true too. You know, like I said, the vacation is a perfect example. By all means, go enjoy with your family. This is where I was able to get to, and now that I've reached my goal. But I could pull back. I did it. I'm coming off a 2-day, and it's like boom. You know, I might even do 3. It's okay. You know, around the holidays, I'm not scared about that now. Yeah. I used to be worried, but I'm really not. And I think too, at least for me on this journey, once you're a little more mindful of what's good and what's bad. If I do have something, I don't have to the extent I did. I might, you know, have a little taste of something, or have, but I don't have. I used to have like a couple bowls of ice cream, or like a whole pizza, or, you know, I can't do that anymore.
It's your choice, right, to do it. It's not that draw where you've got like. You've got control now over those addictions. It's
right,
like,
and
you can eat it if you want, but it's not like I've got to eat it tonight.
Well, and what I find is, to me, it's also even just the amount. I know that how that's going to make me feel. If I have a little nibble of this or a little taste of that, okay, fine. You know, that's okay. I'm not going to beat myself up, but to have to the extent that I had before. I don't want to feel gross again, and I've made that mistake even a little bit on this vacation. At one point, there was something I had a little too much, and I'm like, oh, you know, right away you feel it, and that's attributed
more sensitive
to the fasting lifestyle. You'll feel it a lot quicker, which makes it a lot easier to get back to the happy place, which is eating healthy. You know, maybe even detoxing from some of this terrible stuff if you dip your toe in that water from time to time.
And I saw where a doctor was recommending, actually, to your point earlier, that everybody, no matter who they are, should be fasting for health once a month at least, right, for a 3-day fast.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, that is a fasted lifestyle.
Right.
And some people everybody has different goals, so everybody would do a different lifestyle. Now, I know for you, all of your shorter fasts, you were working out hard. I mean, you have upped your intensity this whole time with your workouts, even while fasted. What are you doing with that? What's been your regimen with that?
Well, it's amazing. One thing for me that I noticed is as I went and started fasting, I think the body has this like chemical reaction. It's like almost like I would wake up sometimes at, you know, I always woke up early, but it was more of a struggle. The alarm, and I'd hit the snooze, and I'd hit the snooze. Yeah. With fasting, I think your body, like, there's something that wakes you up at about 4:30. It says, go hunt food. Or something.
When I'm fasting, I'm good on 2 hours less of sleep.
Right.
I sleep so deep.
Right. So yeah, and sleep's important for weight loss also. So yeah, you do sleep much more sound, and you feel more rested. But yeah, when I would wake up, I would all of a sudden I'd have all this energy. I didn't even need my coffee, which when we first started talking about this, I was like, how am I going to have coffee without sweetener? And I figured out how to get around that. But I really almost didn't even need it because I had so much energy in the morning anyway. And I would just throw it into these workouts, and the results were amazing. And what's really cool is you're starting to shed the weight. I was doing some max interval training and some cardio. And the max interval training, I always tried to work out, even when we did the other competition. And I do okay, but as a bigger person, it's harder to do some of those exercises, and especially for as long as they want you to do.
It feels horrible.
Right, and then all of a sudden, as this weight's just flying off you, you can bend, you can flex, you can do more. All of a sudden, it's like
flex
wow.
in the mirror.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, you feel kind of like you have superpowers. Yeah.
Superpowers. That's seriously how I started to feel.
Right.
A couple weeks into it, I was like, holy crud. Like, you feel like a superhuman.
And what's cool too, and it helps me push on too, is people will take notice pretty quickly. I think the first thing that, and I know it was like this for you, and it was like this for me, you lose it in your face, I think, first.
Mm-hmm.
And right away people start to take notice. Like, what are you doing? Oh my God, you look so much better. And those compliments, I'm not gonna lie, they're like a little bit of a drug. So you want to keep going because it's like, wow, not only am I seeing the results, but everybody around me seeing the results. So that's powerful.
Yeah. So I know you said for you, the self-confidence, has it done anything else for you? And I could see the self-confidence, man. I mean, you're walking, when I see you, you have tons of confidence now. And you look amazing. I see like your posts on Facebook that you're putting online, and it's like, holy crud, it's like a new person out there whenever you're out with your family and stuff. It's unbelievable.
Well, I think you get a lot more. For me, it's been the clarity of thought. There's times at work I've noticed where it's like, where instead of dragging through the day, I could be a couple steps ahead, thinking through things a little bit ahead, or be aware of some things. And, that's important. And, it's important for my own mental well-being and health, but it's also, I'm sure my coworkers appreciate it too, but and anybody in your life, whatever you're doing, I am a Christian, and, I think there's so many times we have opportunities to maybe notice what somebody else is going through or to help somebody. But if we're not clear, we might not even see what's going on in their world. And I think that's what's helped with this too, is with that clarity. Sometimes you get, you're able to kind of connect more with God and connect more with people and see what's doing. So that's powerful.
So the spiritual aspects have been huge too.
Right.
I feel like it just lifts a fog.
Right.
It lifted a fog off of me where I was like, I've been walking around in a fog for years. I didn't even know it. And then all of a sudden I can think clearly. I know what's going on around me. So great. So what would be your advice for new people while fasting, who are thinking about taking the plunge? Maybe they're watching you, they're seeing your results, they get excited. We should post some before and after pictures on this video.
Sure.
So that people could see. I mean, it's like people don't even know.
Right.
They don't even know. So what would be your advice for the new people who are watching this?
I would just say, if you're tired of just kind of doing the yo-yo thing, because, I did that for a lot of years, and it gets harder as you get older. And, if you're just fed up with it and you realize, hey, I want to enjoy my life. That was what it was for me. I want to be healthy for my family, and I want to enjoy my life and not be tired, and another thing too we didn't mention, but my family, my parents and my mother-in-law, they all have major health issues because of how they've eaten and how they've lived, and they didn't know. You know, there's generations of people that kind of were brought up and with eating a lot of this basic poison and not understanding what we know today.
I remember being in grade school drinking like 8 Cokes a day.
Right, and I just got
nobody even batted an eye.
Right,
Just,
right. So I got to a point where I was like, I don't want to live like that. We you know, in America, you know, we work hard most of our lives, and then you work hard to have health issues in your later years. You know, and the way things are going with health insurance and stuff. You know, I don't want to put my fate in anybody else's hands. I can totally control my fate by just doing some simple things. This kind of lifestyle, I'll be able to do things in my later years that a lot of people aren't able to do because I've lived this way, and that's a freedom that, you know, wow, you know. So if you're thinking about this, you know, just dive in, and you know, it's total.
Yes.
I like your site because it's called lifestyle. You know, they have the fasting lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
which that's what it is. It's more than just a trend or a diet or whatever. This is really a lifestyle change, and it's easy now. It is so easy. I don't need to have a lot of complexity. There's too much in my work life. You know, I want something that's simple. This was simple. You know, the hardest part was figuring out the water thing, but you know,
Just don't eat.
You helped me with that. You know, figure out about what salts to put in and all that stuff. And it's all over your site. And once you know that, it's easy. It's really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how easy. And the extra time that we have, the extra energy that we have.
Think about the money you save. You know?
The money.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know how much you've been saving a month since doing this?
No, but
have you ever ran your budget?
No.
Yeah.
I probably should, but I know it's pretty significant. I mean, we went to a hotel for a vacation that had a full giant breakfast, and I could really just have that, which was free. It was included, and not need to eat anything the rest of the time.
Just live off of that.
Just off of that.
I know that we were just talking about where we would be right now if we hadn't found this, and it was kind of depressing. And so, just excited. I'm excited for all of you to have results like David's gotten to his goal weight, and now he's just working out like crazy and continuing on with his journey. And he's keeping a modified fasted lifestyle that's good for maintenance.
Yeah.
And so excited for that, man.
Yeah, and I think it'll be an interesting journey because we're never going to stop learning, and you know, I'll probably learn a lot on how to keep it, you know, nice and even. That's the funny part about this. I've been losing so much now. I got to figure out how to just maintain.
Yeah.
And that's a nice problem to have.
Yes. That is. It's a great problem to have. I can't wait for me to get there and for all of you to get there as well. So with that, everybody have a blessed day and stay fasted.